Thank you, Olga. Thank you for joining me here today. I'm Stephanie Edmonds, one of the co-founders of Stamford Parents United, and we are very excited to have the opportunity to speak with you. So thank you so much for stepping up and offering to represent the people. It's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Stephanie.
And so, of course, everybody knows you of Curley's diner fame. I'm a Stamford kid, and when we talk about iconic places in Stamford or where you're going to meet up, everybody's always like, go by Curley's.
We have been around for a long, long time, almost 50 years.
How is that experience going to translate into making you qualified to go up to Hartford, to the State House, to form policy, legislation? And then, how do you actually represent the people of the 148th District more specifically?
I've been in Stamford for 27 years, living in the Cove. I've met people from all walks of life here. You can name any culture. The thing with the diner is we're a very small business, and people feel comfortable with us, they know us, they come and talk with us. So I know the people here, I know their concerns. I have the same concerns. So I just feel like it's time for a simple person who's not a politician to go up there and address all these issues in a different way than the actual politicians are doing these days.
We're Stamford Parents United, and our top issue is education. All across the country, it's one of the hottest issues right now. There's a lot of bills that were introduced this past session concerning education. Tell us a little bit about what you see as some of the biggest problems in education and how you would approach those up in Hartford.
Everybody's talking about funding. I do understand that funding is very important, but at the same time, if we think about it, everybody wants more funding, and then, of course, that would bring the higher taxes and the higher cost of living. We need to also address where the money are spent. I think schools they have lost focus on what they're supposed to be doing. There are some good bills out there, there are some bad ones. So there are some good bills that I see out there. HB number 5115, which concerns parental access to school curriculum. Another one, the HB 5270, parental involvement in education.
Okay, so it seems like you are looking for making sure that parents are the center main decision makers in their children's education, and then also just transparency, right? We should all be able to easily know what our kids are learning in the classroom.
That's why I want to run. I want to make sure that I'm going to support these bills and bring awareness, as much awareness as I can. Of course, there are bad ones, like especially the 5480, which wants to allow kids over the age of 12 to receive vaccination without parental consent. It feels like the government wants to take over the rights of the parents.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that you have to wait. I think 16 to drive, 18 to drink.
That was my...
21 to drink, 17 to go to rated R movies.
Just bring yourself back to when you were 12. Did you really have any idea about what's the best thing for you?
Let's talk a little bit about the funding.
HB number 6179, an act to establish a money follows the child approach. That way there is not going to be double funding the school or the district that the kid was supposed to go to school, and funding also the school that he's attending in general.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of areas where there is money that is not going where it's supposed to go, and then we request more funding.
But let's go to the money, the inflation. I know as a mom, homeowner, my budget's gotten tighter. Gas has gotten more expensive, groceries have gotten more expensive. It just seems like everywhere costs are going up. So how are we going to address this?
As a business owner, I've seen my food costs going up. I've seen permits that the government is requiring from you. They raise those. They're requiring more and more from business owners, and it just feels like we cannot afford it anymore. we have to raise the prices, we lose our customers. I believe that the government is getting too much involved in our daily lives and in our businesses. Instead of actually helping us, they're just hurting us more. Homeowners, my mother is a homeowner, I manage her property. Right now, I just saw a $500 increase on her mortgage just because the insurance went up and the taxes went up. And then sometimes you have to bring it to your renters and they have to pay as well. You know, they have to take the burden. And I see all these bills that are being proposed for affordable housing, and I don't see anything that can help homeowners age 30 with 830G. The state overrides local zoning laws. So big developers can come in and build all these huge buildings, which most of the times they have the funding from the government. They promise 30% affordable housing, 70% regular.
Right.
And then this specific 830G, it says that a local government cannot take into consideration the fact that it will need more upgraded infrastructure. So you need to do all these, you need to upgrade all this infrastructure, and then who's going to pay for that?
So it seems like the government makes regulations that hurt the established business owners, but kind of give these sweetheart deals to these bigger, well-funded hedge funds or corporations that come in and want to build. And that, it actually reminds me a lot of what they tried to do to you guys here at Curley's Diner, right? There was some deal with these developers. They were going to come in and revitalize the downtown because apparently a homegrown small business of people from the community is not the thing that a town should be looking to invest in and make our town about. We have to bring in outside people and outside corporations and give them tax deals and this and that. So it's, yeah, I definitely think that you're going up there with the right energy and the right attitude. And I was going to ask you, you know, you started off by saying you're not a politician. You started off by saying, you know, you only jumped into this a month ago. You never really thought about politics. But from my account, it seems like you've done your homework. It seems like you've spent the last month researching these bills, you know, making sure that you don't just have the business acumen, but how does that translate into political acumen? So is there anything else that you just want to tell the voters out there to assure them that when you go up there after winning this election, that you are the person who's qualified to represent them, to write policy, and to do this job?
I am multicultural. My family includes people from Syria, from Colombia, from Venezuela.
Are you multilingual?
I do speak English, Greek, and Spanish.
Okay.
I've studied Italian for 2 years. I've studied German. I was just into education was always very important to me. Then I had to stop because of the eminent domain case. It really took a toll. Oh, it took a lot. It took 4 years for us to win.
Right.
And then
and I think that's the biggest thing too. Like, you've looked the beast in the eyes and you won, and you're here, you know, walking around to tell the story. And that's the kind of person that I want going up to Hartford to represent me. You know, not the person with the legal degree that can speak all like the fancy legalese language so that they can hide all the stuff and make deals. I want somebody who's going to go, who's going to speak simple, who's going to speak clearly, who's going to go and actually represent the people. And when I say simple, I don't mean like dumb. I just mean like in a plain way that the people can understand, and not doing these like highfalutin, nice sounding words that actually don't mean anything. So I really appreciate you stepping up. I really appreciate you sitting down to share some of your story. I know it's been a whirlwind of a last month, and we got what, a little less than a week to go. So let's do this.
Oh yeah, thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.